Hey everybody, this is Oscar from the Side Hustle Playbook. And in this video, I wanted to talk a little bit about setting up your professional business presence. After some time, after you started your side hustle, you might find that you want to step up your game a little bit. Maybe you're using a personal email account like your Gmail or Yahoo. Maybe you're using your standard home cell phone or phone to make phone calls and things like that. And you can create a better presence, if you will, with your company, with your side hustle. If you do a few things just to kind of give the that perception that you are serious, that you do have an actual business that's offering whatever services or products that you're selling, right? We all start. I started using just my personal stuff to begin with. But if you put yourself in the shoes of your customers, just kind of think about it. If you're going to, either a website or you found an ad or something like that, and it has a Yahoo account tied to it, I know like some folks have some pretty funny email names and stuff like that. What you can do is, create your business at gmail.com, put the business name as gmail.com, and that's a good start. But I think at the end of the day, if you're serious and you're getting some traction, especially when you're dealing with folks that you've never met, if you're, maybe advertising and you're getting calls from folks, having that bigger, business presence, I think is definitely going to help, and it's going to help give folks peace of mind. Now, whether you do a business license, an LLC, that's a topic for a completely different video. And to be honest, I'm not an expert, on what would work for you. So for anything like that, if you're looking to actually create the business and create your business name and all that good stuff, you're definitely going to want to talk to like a financial guy, a tax or accountant and things like that to make sure that you set that up, for what works best. For this video, I'm talking more about little things you can do, small investments that you can make to give you more of that business brand, right? So that when you interact with your customers, when you're interacting with folks, vendors as well, you're going to have that business, look and feel. And you'll find right now as we'll go through this, it's pretty low cost. You can get started pretty quick. So, there's a few items I just wanted to hit. So let me just look over here on my notes. So the first thing you want to start off with, of course, is a domain name. And everyone's heard, get a domain name, get a domain name. But for those that, may not know exactly what a domain name is, it's that word or, the address of a website. So for example, yahoo.com. Yahoo.com is a domain name. And what it's doing is actually pointing to the actual IP address of the server where that website lives. So for you as a business, look to see if you can buy the domain name for your business name. If it's Franny's Florals or Oscar's Flowers, if you're doing flowers and you want to call yourself Oscar's Flowers or something like that, you can do a quick search. Just about any web hosting company will let you do a search for domains. But that's something I think you definitely want to lock in and get, even if you're not looking at creating a website right away. That's okay. You can register the domain, but that way you'll own it. It'll be yours, and you don't have to worry about somebody else registering it before you. So various places you can go. You can go to Bluehost, and let's go ahead and jump on the computer real quick. But you can see here, this is Bluehost. So if you go to Bluehost, you can right out of the gate, if you hit domains, it'll take you to this page right here, and you can start searching. So you can type in the name that you're looking for. So if I'm looking for Oscar Flowers, you can do this search that way, and it's going to look, and it's going to say, hey, you know what? This is available. The .com is available. In some cases, though, you're not going to be able to get a .com. .com has been the original one, so a lot of things have been registered with that already. So it's a little bit harder to find, especially if it's a popular name or a common name. It's going to be a little tough. But when if it is taken, it'll say it's not available, and you can then down here it'll give you suggestions, and some of it could be using a different domain like .net, .org, .tech, and more. Back in the old days, they would say, no, you don't want to, use anything but a .com. More and more, that's gone out the window because I think, in my opinion, I think getting the branding right is just as important as whether it's a .com or not. So you're seeing companies with .io, .biz, like us, side hustle playbook .biz, .us. There's all sorts of different ones that you can get now, and it'll show you what's available, or it'll actually tweak sometimes the name, things like that you can determine if you want to change up or not. As you can see here as well, the pricing varies from the type of domain name that you're doing. But if we go back here to let's see here, the different endings that they sell here. Bluehost sells more of them, more popular domains, but there's other providers that offer a lot more. But just so you can get an example, you'd pay $12.99 for the .com, and that's for the year. You usually we'll say something like first year because the second year might be $19.99. So definitely, depending on the registrar you go to, the pricing is going to definitely be different. But you also want to go with the reputable one. So there's 3 that I'm going to be showing you guys here. These are 3 that I've used. They're very popular. There's nothing special about them except that they're reputable. They've been around for a long time, so they're not going anywhere. But you got .blogs, you got .website, and you can see the different pricing. A lot of times, if there's a new domain, they'll basically look to promote it and give it to you really cheap the first year, but make sure you check what the second year option is going to be. Another company that's very popular with folks is Namecheap. And if you go to their domains, you can see, again, pretty cheap compared to Bluehost. So you'd save a few bucks. .io is becoming very popular. But you can see, pricing varies even from place to place for the same type of product. And then a third one that's, again, just as popular, a lot of folks use it, would be GoDaddy here. So you can see, again, they have very similar pricing. GoDaddy's been around for a long time. A lot of folks, will say, oh, they don't like, GoDaddy. But as far as just registering a domain, they're fine. I've never had any problems with them. I've been very happy with them, and have called their support from time to time on other, hosting and things like that, and they've always been very helpful. So now, when you have that domain, and let's just say we bought a domain, we got the .com, oscarsflowers.com, we have that domain. You're spent right now $12.99 for the year, so that's not too bad, right? For $12.99 now you own that. But now what? So the next step that I would do is look for email. And there's a couple ways you can do it. Some, providers, and not all, so you definitely have to look. You can either purchase email through them for a specific price. So if you look at Bluehost, they have like their Office 365, which is going to be the same price usually as if you went through Microsoft. So not the cheapest option, but it uses your domain. A lot of folks like it. But there's another one, I think, with Namecheap. They will give you with their kind of, their version of, IMAP email. Basically it's email hosted on their servers. Again, you can get a starter package for 78 cents a month per. It's usually going to be per mailbox, right? But the nice thing is now you can do, Oscar at oscarsflowers.com. Starting to get a little bit more professional there, starting to get that business brand. So when you're interacting with customers, it does 2 things, for me at least, that I really, really like is I separate my personal and my business. So those emails are completely separate. You just don't want to, mix as much as possible just in case, if there's ever an issue, anything like that, they're 2 separate accounts. So I like that. I like having the separate accounts. But now when you're interacting with your customers, now they're getting this email from your domain. Just gives it that, more professional, like you took the time to set this up, or they're dealing with a real business. So I really think that gives you great value for that 78 cents. A lot of these like Bluehost, GoDaddy, they will offer you free email in some cases when you buy a purchase or you purchase a hosting plan. Sorry about that. But if you get hosting with them, then you can also get that free email. Another email provider that I like a lot is Rackspace email. So Rackspace does have a lot of solutions, hosting, all that good stuff. And if you go to their email, though, they provide good email services. They do also the Microsoft 365. But if you go into solutions, applications, email productivity, it's going to take you to this page. They're going to offer you the Microsoft 365. Again, if you're a larger business, yeah, it makes sense because you'll get the Office suite and all that good stuff. But for what we're trying to do, we're trying to keep it as cheap as possible. They have their own product called Rackspace Email. And I believe you get 3 mailboxes, if I'm not mistaken, for $9.99 a month. So about $3 per mailbox. I like it just because it performs very well. It's very fast. It easily connects with, your Outlook mail app, or if you're using the mail app on your iPhone, very easy to connect and, works. I've never really had any issue with it. So again, same type of thing though. You're able to send and receive emails using your domain name. So in our case, it would be Oscar at oscarflowers.com. And, it lives on the Rackspace email server. So again, another option, not too much of an investment there. The third piece that you can do would be to, create a website, right? Create a landing page or create somewhere that your customers can go when they look at oscarflowers.com. Now it actually takes them to a website. So again, Bluehost is one of my favorites. You would do something like their shared hosting. So when you're looking at their hosting options, there's shared hosting, dedicated hosting, VPS hosting. Shared hosting is what it sounds like. You're sharing space on a server with many other companies, and there's probably tons on there. Dedicated hosting is similar, but you're going to get a little bit more. You're going to get probably an IP address that's dedicated just to you, and you'll probably get a little bit more dedicated space. But again, it's going to be much more expensive and really not needed, especially when you're first starting out. And then there's VPS hosting. Just ignore that. That's basically you're using a virtual server on their environment. So shared hosting, and most of these companies, GoDaddy, Namecheap, they're all going to use that same type of terminology, usually shared hosting. And as you can see, pricing if for a regular website is $2.95. And this is pretty much all you really need. Namecheap is another one like we've talked about. If we look at their hosting, again, you see shared. Again, very cheap, very reasonable. A couple of things that I would recommend with whatever provider you decide to go with. Look for either WordPress integration, and if they have cPanel. cPanel is what kind of works on the back end of your website, and that lets you manage it, administer it, things like that. cPanel is very easy to use, but it's great when you just need to install WordPress. You need to install updates to WordPress because you can do that with the click of a button. Very nice. There's also other options like Wix, very popular, kind of a drag and drop type of thing. A little bit pricier, I believe. So if we look at their pricing, yeah, you're looking at quite a few bucks more. So on the personal use, you're looking at $14 compared to a few bucks for some of these others. But again, the builder, it's all about the builder, how easy it is to build. And then you have Squarespace, which again is going to cost you a little bit more, but it's meant to kind of help you easily, build your website without having any technical knowledge. Another option that I ran into recently, and I'm still using it myself, kind of getting my feet on, getting my feet wet with it, but is groove.cm. So if you go to these guys, they have what they call funnel, Groove funnels, just like ClickFunnels, but they have what's called Groove pages. And that lets you pretty much create a static website. So I have a website right now, sidehustleplaybook.biz, that we actually just moved. I moved it from a WordPress website to that to test it out. And I did the blog. But the nice thing about it, like right here, what they say is you can get a free account. You get access to pretty much everything. You just don't get to build. I think with their free account, you get to build like one website, you get to build one blog, things like that. You're not going to get to build unlimited numbers, but definitely worth a look right now. So far, I've been using it, been pretty happy with it. Their builder, their page builder is pretty easy to use. Once you get kind of used to the nuances of it. But at this point, it's been working. The website's been up. Haven't had any issues with it. But if you want to see a website that's up and running, you can look at ours, sidehustleplaybook.biz. But using or doing these three things, now at this point you would have your domain name that you own now. You now have a professional email that you can send and receive with a website. So now you send somebody an email, they receive that email, they're going to say, hey, let me check out this company. They go to your domain name, or in our example, oscarsflowers.com, and then they come up to your website and now see some more information. Maybe they see some photos of stuff that you've done or some products that you sell, things like that. That's what gives the whole branding piece. If you want to step it up a little bit more, get your social media sites to match the domain name or, similar to the company name, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, YouTube channel, just like this, get that going as well. Again, you're building that brand. And then down the road, if you decide, if things are going good and you want to take it up one more level, that's where you can use a service like Grasshopper. That's what we use. And that's basically like a phone service that runs on your cell phone or your iPhone or Android. And what it does is it'll give you like your own number, your own business number, pretty reasonable. Again, that would be, if your business is good, you're trying to make some money. But I want to say it's in the $30 with maybe taxes. It's probably going to be around $35. But for that $35, you'll get a number that you can then designate. This is my business number. Put that on all your business info. But when it rings, it'll ring on their app on your phone, so it's a business call. And you can create extensions. You can really give it, do these greetings to give you that business presence that we're looking for. And again, that's at the next level. But I would definitely start off, if you do anything at all, start off with a domain name, just to start, just so you own it. And then from there, I would go website with the email, and that will definitely get you going. And it's not, again, like I said, it's not very tough to do. Then you can get into the WordPress if you want. And WordPress is solid, very popular. Just make sure whatever you do with WordPress or any of these, you're constantly updating and making sure that you have the latest patches and things like that for security purposes. But that's pretty much it for this one. Just again, wanted to give you those tips. See if if you guys are looking to build that brand, that's really what you need to do to get that online brand. And then from there, like if you're doing Shopify, BigCommerce, things like that, you can always point your domain to something like that. So if you're doing e-commerce, you're selling products that way, you can definitely go that route. Now, if you're doing eBay only, you probably don't need this. If you're doing like Redbubble, print on demand type stuff where you're not really, there's no store that you own, or it's just all going through like Amazon, things like that, then yeah, you don't really need to do anything like this. Using Gmail and things like that is just fine. But I have found not only do customers, kind of get that, warm fuzzy feeling, I found that if I'm dealing with vendors, that they're going to take you more serious, I think, when you email from a domain name of your company, right? So always, something to think about. So I hope this video was helpful. And again, if you guys have any questions at all, feel free to leave comments down below. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. And that way you'll be alerted on any new ones that come out. So you guys have a great one. Talk to you guys soon.